Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, May 24th, Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Rebecca McClure.
Present.
Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, then we'll move on to the approval of minutes from our previous meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
The motion approves. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, move on to department head reports. First up is Police Department, Deputy Chief Bales.
Good evening. For the last 2 weeks, Lebanon Police Department responded to 671 calls for service with a total number of arrests of 14. 14 gun permits were issued. Charges included 6 operating while intoxicated, 3 arrested on a warrant, 2 for possession of methamphetamine, 2 for possession of a controlled substance, and 1 for driving while suspended. Lebanon Police Department officers have completed 4 hours of training on the operation of the body camera system and installation of the new vehicle-mounted cameras and interview room cameras this past week. The installation crew was busy all last week and were able to get all of the work done in the vehicles and interview rooms in 5 days. It was quite the process getting everybody in and out, but went fairly smooth, and so far so good. Our representative from Body Worn, Ricky Vaughn, that's really his name, he's from North Carolina, great guy. He's remained on site to assist us as we finish up the last minute things that we need to do before we go live. The plan right now, because we're coordinating with county's IT to get the IP addresses through their firewall, is to go live Tuesday, June 1st. So a week from tomorrow, we plan to go live, fully operational with the body cams and the in-car cameras. So pretty excited to get that rolling. It's been a long process, but well worth it. Officers Vickery and Winnings have completed the instructor course for strategies and tactics of patrol stops in Brownsburg last week. This training is based upon research from officers that have been killed or injured in the line of duty, where strategies and tactics have been developed to counter assaults in vehicle stops. And they may get their first opportunity to do some formal instruction in July. We're putting together a combined training event at the Lebanon High School. Officer Jamison Wright has completed accident reconstruction school and will be joining the FACT team, the fatal accident crash team, as an accident reconstructionist. The team has been short of reconstructionists since last year. That was a 6-week process for Officer Wright, and it's not a really easy school to go through, but he did very well in it, so we're very proud of him. And finally, Officer James Kuntz last week graduated approximately 200 fifth graders from the DARE program. Graduation ceremonies were held at Stokes and Central and Harney elementary schools, and they included a pizza party and outdoor games for the kids. And we had stations hosted by some of our officers. Tommy Nash, Aaron Carlson, Nick Reynolds, Grady Robertson, and Mike Custis were there to help and interact with the kids.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Any questions for the Police Department?
Nope.
Any questions for the public? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Next up will be Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Works meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 126 emergency calls for service, logged 173 training hours, performed 18 commercial pre-plans, completed 80 commercial inspections, and we installed 1 car seat. This week, the rope rescue and ops training class that we are hosting will be at the water tower down by Chicago Street. We were meeting with some homeowners right before this meeting, discussing being out there, so we wanted to let the community know that we'll be training off that tower for 3 days this week and a couple dates in June. So if you see people hanging off of the water tower at Chicago Street, it is a training scenario. We've had some preliminary talks with Whitestown, Brownsburg, and the Pike Township Fire Departments of putting together a road rescue team that would service all of those locations. At the end of this class, we'll have 26 techs. We have 16 enrolled in this class than with our existing techs. We feel like it's the right move for our county and our area with increasing need. And it's just been a great opportunity. We were training last week at U.S. Cold Storage. U.S. Cold Storage has been a great community partner. A lot of the equipment that we have was purchased through U.S. Cold Storage, and they've just been absolutely great to work with. I want to mention that next year, LFD will be celebrating their 150-year anniversary of the service to the city of Lebanon. So we're going to have some special events next year and some different things available to the public. I just wanted to make everyone aware that that is coming down the pipe. Last but not least, next week we'll be holding interviews for our new hires. We started out with a list of 150 people, and we have it down to our top 25. That'll go through the battalion chief and deputy chief's interviews. From there, we're going to get a list down to 20, and then we will be visiting our Board of Public Works and Safety.
Okay.
That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the fire department? Any questions from the public? Okay, thanks, sir. Next up is Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. Asphalt work was completed last week on the northwest side of Memorial Park. This was along the baseball diamond, including the parking lot and entrance on State Road 39. The striping will be completed. They're actually coming out tomorrow to do the whole park, so Memorial Park will be done. We'll do Abner at a later date, but we're going to restripe those two. Seashore Water Park update. Pool parties along with June and July swim lessons are fully booked. We had 3 open. Everything is just going crazy this year. It's great to see everybody out, but unfortunately no swim lessons. We've overbooked it, so we have enough, about 1 to 2 guards per 3 children. So we want to keep it there, not only for their learning, but also for safety. So unfortunately, we'll have to wait till next year or possibly do something this winter at the high school pool. If you have any questions or want to visit our website, you go to seashorewaterpark.org for more information. Excited about the season. We will be opening the pool this Saturday at 11 a.m. And this weather, I think everybody's ready for it. Monday through Wednesday is 11 to 7. Thursday through Saturday is 11 to 6, and Sunday 12 to 6. Prices are all remaining the same as last year, with local adults paying $5 or $6, and then non-residents $2 more, which is $8. And it was 50-50 last year. We had 50 non-residents and 50% were residents. I thought that was an interesting statistic. I talked to the Frankfort Parks Department director today, and their pool won't be completed till 2023. So we have another year of them, plus Brownsburg and a lot of our communities. Zionsville don't have pools, so I think we got a good thing going on. And obviously that expansion, looking forward to starting that process. The splash pad at Abner Longley opened this last Saturday. I opened and closed it, so there were all kinds of kids ready, and it was very well used this weekend, obviously with the weather. Weather permitting, we will be spraying all the pines and spruce trees in the parks. We had a terrible infestation with bagworms. Unfortunately, if we don't treat them, we'll lose them. We're licensed through the state, and we know what we're doing, so we will be treating those. And the risk to anybody is negligible. We'll be doing it early in the morning. Nobody will even be able to tell other than seeing us in a bucket truck and trying to take care of them. But we can't afford to lose any of those pines or blue spruces. So they're in good shape right now. We plucked all the bags like you're supposed to last fall, but they have to be treated. So that's something that we don't want anything like the ash borer, what it did to all our ash trees. So hopefully we'll save the pines, and that's just going to be going on. Current and upcoming programs, registration for our Stars and Strikes Coed softball tournament is now open. I think we have 3 or 4 teams already signed up. The tournament will be held on Saturday, June 26th at Abner Longley Park. Please register in our office, or you can register over the phone. number 765-482-8860. We held our pickleball tournament this past Friday, had a great turnout for our spring league, and hope to have more leagues in the future. Mayor, how'd you turn out? How'd we do?
Got a runner-up.
There you go. Yeah, nice team. I think you had fun. It looked like a nice league that we had going on.
Absolutely, yep.
And we're looking at different things. I think you even suggested a night tournament or something like that. I think that'd be good
That'd be
under
cool.
the lights, yeah. Obviously, the pickleball courts are a big hit and very well used. Southside, they were full this weekend again. We're currently in the planning stages for the daddy-daughter dance and mother-son event, so stay tuned for that. Outside events, the RC competition on May 16th had another great turnout. That was a couple Sundays ago on May 16th. Buick Club Car Show that came from Kokomo. We've had them for the last couple years. They're coming in June 5th at Memorial Park. Kiwanis Fishing Derby, the old Tom Sawyer Fishing Derby, is held June 12th, free for all the kids. 8 a.m. to 11:30 at the Hot Pond, and there again, that's Kiwanis sponsoring that and running the show. Colonial Market Days, June 12th and 13th at Abner Longway Park. They had a great turnout last year, and I think they're going to have a great turnout again this year. Varsity baseball wrapped up a great regular season. We wish them well in the sectional tournament and on in the state tournament. There again, Lysa also wrapped up their season last Saturday at Reese Park, and they did a very nice recognition of all the players and all the volunteers, the parent volunteers. And also this Friday at 6 o'clock, the seniors are going to do their senior walk through the park as they did last year. So Friday at 6, if you see a lot of cars and people, that'll be those graduating seniors. We've had quite a few college kids come back right now and working. We did put out a newsletter last week. Our intern's going to be doing that on a weekly basis to keep everybody informed. We always hear we don't get enough information, but it's out there. So hopefully all our contacts that we have from our website, all the emails, that will all be generated and sent to them. So I think we're up to 3,500 or something like that we'll be communicating with, and hopefully that'll help on our communication end. And that's all I had.
Thank you, John. Any questions for the Parks Department? Any questions from public? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Good evening. It's good to see everyone's smiles again. It's been a while. Engineering report for this meeting. A couple things on downtown. I know you thought we were probably done with downtown, but we're going back and just doing a few more things. We've talked about this before, but the walk resurfacing in front of Lacey Boggs and St. Adrian's, that is scheduled for the week of June 7th. Sorry, not resurfacing. We're just adding some more grit to the surface that's there. We had some complaints of it being slippery in the wintertime, so we're going to take care of that at no cost to the city. The contractor's coming back to do that. Montgomery Ward Building was shifting to that corner of the downtown, and last week the base asphalt layers were installed. Milling is expected this Friday on the remaining parking lot areas and the adjacent alleys. And then we will expect to see asphalt surfacing and final striping going down in the next 2 weeks. The schedule's still to be determined on those things, but hopefully wrapping that up here as we get into June. Also, happy to report, we're working on what we're calling our temporary trailhead in that parking lot. So we're basically taking a parking space and we're going to install a portalet enclosure, so we can keep some portalets down there behind a metal screen that will match the fence material downtown, but it will be an opaque screen. You won't be able to see those behind there. We're also going to install a bench, a trash can, a bike rack, and some Big Four Trailhead logo signage as well. All this is pending HPC approval, which is we're on the agenda for early June. But first things first, we're going to get the parking lot in and striped, and then we'll be working on this trailhead location, which is ideal because it is right there along the Big Four. And at some point in the future, if there's a redevelopment of that site, as I said, it's a temporary improvement. All the things except for the fencing could be relocated somewhere else and make room for redevelopment should that come forward. Pavement resurfacing, it's getting to be that time of year. Our pre-construction meeting and site walkthrough is scheduled for June 14th, and then looking to start those resurfacing projects, around 20 of them in July. Some updates on NDOT work. The State Road 32 and Ping Drive signal, the state is still reviewing that. They're trying to make their final decision on putting up those temporary lights. And they're basically going to justify the installation of the stoplights to add in traffic control for all the detouring cars associated with the I-65 out of travel lane project. So we're hoping those go in, and then that'll give us some more time for the developer to continue to work on that project, which there's more news later in the meeting on that, and develop some more traffic generating businesses there that will hopefully allow those temporary signals to stay up permanently. Whit Road Bridge, we're working with legal counsel with Rob and Company on our last right-of-way parcel there. Just should have that wrapped up here shortly. Remind you, bridge construction is scheduled for about 45 days in September, October, later in the year. Also talking about bridges, the Elmwood Bridge, we're continuing to work with our friends at Boone County and in the utilities, in all utilities, to coordinate the design of that bridge. We had our preliminary design coordination meeting between myself and the county and our bridge designers last week. Everything's going smoothly there. Active living updates, our cost share sidewalk program, those construction projects have started. 13 applications have been received, and we're beginning to do that work now. We're also later in the evening, we will be having the council consider adopting our ADA transition plan. And also happy to report that we are now under contract on an update for our bike and pedestrian plan. On that note, the Big Four Trail, our first next level trails reimbursement, financial reimbursement has been submitted. We are also now under contract for the design of the rural section of the trail. And as I mentioned before, we're excited to continue to expand the Big Four amenities with the trailhead at the former Montgomery Ward site. And also worth noting that we understand that Colfax is expected to begin bridge repairs that will extend the trail outside of Boone County and up to Colfax. So really excited to see more investments being made there by other communities. Our Grant Street project is not going to happen, for some time, but I also want to update everybody on the Williams Street project, which is just adjacent to that. Bridge 311 being replaced by the county is scheduled to begin construction next week. You may have seen some of wooden stakes and orange flags on Park Street, Grant Street, Washington Street, Fordyce, East Street, Williams, and you might have wondered, what is that for? Those are the detour routes that the county is installing. So you should see those signs go up towards the end of the week in anticipation of construction starting next week. So wait till just after the holiday, and then they will close the road and start beginning that bridge reconstruction. That will close the bridge and the intersection of Williams and Ann Street from approximately June 1st through August 15th. Fordyce Road, we're still working through right-of-way acquisition. We're also coordinating right-of-way drainage and easements with the school district. Happy to report the school has agreed to donate those easements that are needed for that project to us, and that will be on the school board's agenda for July 20th. Along with clearing up some old school-related right-of-way, at that time they're also going to formally dedicate the portions of Tiger Way that are on school property and portions of Grant Street that are on school property. So we're going to get those things cleaned up. We've been talking about that for a while, or at least I have. We're finally going to get those things rectified at this point. On Fordyce as well, we're looking at our city reimbursement agreement for upsizing of storm sewers with the Fisher Homes development of Cedar Ridge. They just returned comments from their legal department. Those are in Rob's hands for their review of those items, and hopefully we'll wrap that up here shortly. And we'll plan to be under construction in June, so that's exciting to see more new homes coming to Lebanon. Bike park update, a couple things. Really, there's sort of two layers to the bike park that we're looking at right now. One's the technical side and one's the legal side. From a legal standpoint, You know what, to remind everybody, I don't think I've updated you at the last meeting. 3 criteria that we're looking at per the Boone County zoning ordinance. The project has to be publicly owned, it has to be in the R1 district, and it has to be a recreational facility, which is defined as an area primarily designed and equipped for the conduct of outdoor sports and leisure time activities. The county has repeatedly acknowledged compliance with those 3 criteria, but the county has also continued to deny any permitting on the project and has insisted that we go for a special exception contrary to what the zoning ordinance would state. The county has also refused to offer any kind of support for said special exception. So we are moving forward with judicial review. We have been for some time now. We are now before Judge Hunter of Clinton County. Right now, the only thing we've really done there is filed for a request and been granted an extension so that we can complete filing the record from the BZA meeting. And the only reason we've had to file that extension is due to delays in the county providing that information. So that's really the legal side of the bike park. On the technical side, in March we received comments from IDEM, or what they would refer to as a request for additional information. This was about a month later than we expected, again delayed due to objections filed with IDEM from the county. But we are working through those. There's some minor site revisions, some additional test pit locations to further delineate the solid waste boundary. Also wanted some ambient air testing and groundwater sampling. Happy to report that we've completed the test pit locations. The solid waste boundary is exactly where we thought it would be. We've also done the ambient air testing and found no trace elements of gas escaping from the landfill. We also even went further and did the gas testing in the excavations that we did to confirm the boundary. And happy to report, again, no gas escaping from the landfill deposits. So that's good. That's really key for us developing a safe site for the public. So now we're on to the remaining concerns, which is really related to groundwater. This will be up for consideration later this evening for an additional appropriation to do the groundwater sampling and testing and planning. And there'll be a $100,000 request for that additional work so that we can fully address items, comments. But I will say that this additional testing, it will be vital and will be useful regardless of whatever happens on the site. These are things that we need to know. We need to know if there's any risk out there. We need to know how we address those risks if any are found. Moving on, sorry, next page. Updates from our inspection department. Just a few project updates around the city. Happy to report at Airstream, they have now pulled building permits and they're moving forward on the building side of the project. Up at Auburn Meadows, Phase 3, the proof roll is passed, doing some minor repairs. They've passed all their camera inspections on the storm sewer. They will be, they started installing subsurface drains, and they're looking to be paving in a week or two. So again, we'll have more lots coming available on that side of town. Lebanon Business Park, Site 16, concrete driveway approaches in the right-of-way are scheduled for this week. Sunbrook Phase 2, again, camera inspections on the storm sewer have been completed. There's some minor repairs that'll have to be made, but nothing major. And also happy to report that they've now pulled permits, and we've had our pre-construction meeting for Phase 3 of Sunbrook. And Phase 2 of Sunbrook Villas is right behind that. So things are continuing to move forward on the residential side. Other miscellaneous project updates, Pratt Storage, building is going up. Syracuse Water Mains, Lebanon Utilities project. I believe there's 9 driveway approaches left to be installed. And that project is nearing completion on the water side. There'll still be a lot of concrete work left to go. Key Car Wash, Autumn Trace, 2 projects right next to each other across from the Pizza Hut are now rough grading and moving those things, those projects forward. That's all I have.
That's all. All right.
Kevin, I noticed coming down here this evening, I don't know why I hadn't seen it before, but at the corner of Southeast Street and 32, on the northwest corner,
Yes.
there's a curb that's been installed across the sidewalk, so that if you're walking, or if you were, you know, on a bicycle, or if you had a wheelchair or something else, you have to go out in the street to go around that curb. There's a parking lot there on that corner,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, which I don't understand, but there's a curb that's been installed that's about 4 inches, 5 inches tall. and it crosses the sidewalk just before you get to 32.
Okay, let me
Take a look at that, would you? It may be okay, but at the same time, it's pretty awkward, and for pedestrians or anything, you have to go out in the street to get around or over
No,
that curb.
understood, yeah. I know that intersection is really the state's, and they've had some troubles with semis cutting the corner. I think they've hit a stop sign at least 3 times that I've witnessed.
Yeah, it was
So
down.
maybe they tried to do something to further restrict traffic flow, but of course, we don't want to restrict our pedestrians.
Yeah, the stop sign was down a couple of weeks ago, but it's up now. But that curb is just strange.
Okay, I'll look closer at that.
Thank you.
Any other
else?
questions for Kevin for the engineering report? And you have Ben's planning report as well?
I do.
Okay.
Okay. Planning report. Planning operations from the time period of May 10th through the 24th, there were 27 building inspections, 18 new permits issued, residential permits for swimming pools, 1, 2 electrical permits, 2 HVAC permits, 1 demolition permit, 1 building addition, 4 fence permits, 3 roofing permits, and 1 temporary vendor permit. We've also issued 1 right-of-way permit. And on the commercial and industrial side, we've had 1 improvement location permit and 1 signage permit. Jumping to code enforcement for that same period, activities include 4 community policing activities, 6 courtesy notices related to code enforcement, 9 email communications sent out, 3 follow-ups with our legal department, 8 formal citations were issued, 4 formal warnings were issued, 5 general follow-up on previous activities, 32 inspections were made in that time period, 26 junk vehicle inspections, 1 meeting to try to resolve an issue with a property owner, 21 prohibited sign removal orders, 21 re-inspections, and 4 communications over the telephone with different code enforcement violation offenders, and for a total of 144 investigative actions, roughly in the last 2 weeks.
And a partridge in a pear tree?
What's that?
And a partridge in a pear tree?
That's right. Let's see, we've also got new cases that we've been developing, 3 junk and trash complaints, 13 weed and grass complaints, 1 unsafe structure, 2 signage violations, 5 parking violations, 1 light nuisance, and 5 junk vehicles. So 30 new cases that have opened up in that time period as well. So, it's getting warmer out, as we all know, and I think there's just more people looking around the neighborhood, more people reporting cases, more patrols that we're able to do at this time, and there you have it by the numbers. So that's all I have for Ben.
Okay, great. Any other questions for Kevin on that? Okay, thanks, sir. Next will be Street and Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
Well, mine won't be as long as Kevin's, so I'll get you home for supper. We've been out pretty busy mowing easements with all the rain and stuff, getting that on track, definitely cleaning up all the trash. Don't ask me how we cleaned up some dead fish. I don't know. How they got to Camp Street, I don't know. We found them. But been mowing some vacant properties for code violations, getting that taken care of. You might have seen, we had a question earlier about the black post by the park and Lafayette Avenue and out on Elm Swamp and Elizaville. That's just we're going to put pedestrian flashers up there to let people know that people are crossing the walk here. They'll flash constantly. You don't have to push a button or nothing, just to slow people down, especially around the park area. Just so they'll know that that's a pedestrian walk, and we got a lot of foot traffic, so we're going to try them out and see how they do. Let's see, what else have we done here? You might have seen we done some quite a big stormwater project right there on Witt Road. So we're adding some just before the bridge, or depends on which way you're coming, but if you're heading out of town, it's just before the bridge. We have some water drainage issues there, and there's not really much drainage on Witt Road, so we had to add some structures there to get it down to the Thompson, maybe one of the streets, but we got it got it in, we're just waiting on a patch. Should be later this week. I think Tuesday or Wednesday they'll patch that for us. It's kind of a big patch for us to try to hot mix in, so we just got Triangle to do it for us since they do our block patching. Been pretty busy keeping the drains clean for all the rain. We always do that. Pretty common. Our next brush week will be June 7th through the 11th. We have a lot of people calling and asking about that, so they've been really accepted to it, though. They just say no problem. We tell them to have it out there Monday morning at 7, and we'll get it that week. We don't really follow a trash route or nothing. We just try to have them have it out there, so they're ready for it. We would like to welcome our new hire, Parker Lewis. It's one of the first times we've had a guy have to take some time off right at the start to graduate high school, but he's really doing good. He's fitting right in with us, so we got a lot of young people, and it's good, and they're doing great for us. So the rest of the schedule for 2021 for brush is like it runs from April to October is June 7th through June 11th, July 12th through the 16th, August 9th through the 13th, and then September 13th through 17th, and our last one will be October 11th through the 15th. And we should have, after next week, maybe 2 weeks or so, we'll have some flashing speed limit signs going up around by the park as well. We're going to test some of those out. I can't remember if I know the speed's 20, but I don't remember if they light up at 20 and then they turn red once you're over 20. I'm not sure. It's been so long since we ordered them, but we definitely have them, and we will get them up, and we're going to try those out and see how they do. But that's all we got.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Communications, Community Development, Jill Page.
Good evening, everyone. I'll echo the sentiment that it's good to see actual faces and expressions and all those things, ditching the masks and getting vaxxed up and everything. A couple of the topics I'll be talking about, we'll get back to normal and continue that recurring theme. The first one being Boone County Summerfest, which is coming up June 5th and 6th. So we're going to kickstart June with a big event. I'd like to show you a little bit of it. And just to tease folks listening and watching at home, we'll be asking for a street closure for the event a little bit later on in our Board of Works meeting. But wanted to be able to show how our downtown square will lay out for this event. Sorry, that's a little bleached out right there, but I'll talk about the things that are there. So the Summerfest event, 2-day event, 8 bands. All the little squares there are either vendors or attractions within this event. It's been tremendously well represented by members of our county, different entities wanting to be able to either have giveaways or be able to have different features for the event. So a number of food, alcohol vendors as well, different carnival attractions. It's all in there. I think that was a marketing campaign classic in maybe the 90s or 80s. It's all in there. Ragu maybe. But anyway, so our stage is down here at the bottom of our event space. And like I said, we'll get into that a little bit later on in our Board of Works meeting when I ask for the street closure officially. But briefly, the 8 bands, 45 RPM, Dave and Ray, Country Summer and Groove Smash, also the Dew, Stella Luna, the Copper Stills, and the Naughty Yachties. And so some bands you may have heard of, they're all a lot of fun, different genres. Others you have not, but if you'd like to hear a little bit more about each band that will be featured at our Summerfest event, you can go online and check out our podcast, our Love in Lebanon podcast. We talked to a couple of the organizers and went down and talked about the different features and the different bands that will be at that event on June 5th and 6th. Also, you can read more about the event. Not only the Lebanon Reporter did a great feature on it, but also there's a Facebook event page that you can look at, and shameless plug, also looking for volunteers for the event. And we are making strides to hook up our vendors, or our volunteers rather, at our Summerfest event. Each volunteer will get a swag bag that all the bands are going to put together and do some signed memorabilia that all of our volunteers will get. We're going to feed you for free, so there are a number of different food options. There'll be vouchers where you can go if you serve more than 4 hours. We'll get you fed and get some liquid refreshment, non-alcoholic liquid refreshment in you as well, free of charge. And volunteers will be entered to win a backyard concert by one of the acts at the event. And so how cool would that be to be able to have a live concert in your backyard, all free of charge, just being able to have you volunteer for our event downtown in Lebanon. Fast forwarding just a little bit, our CSX mural, I have been texting back and forth with our artist, is kind of heading that up on Indianapolis Avenue. By the end of the month, we'll have our budgetary and also our timeline for painting that CSX mural on the CSX overpass. So by our next Board of Works meeting, I'm planning on bringing you the design. It's a whole lot of fun. And then the timeline and being able to ask for partial street closures for that roadway so that mural can take place in June and throughout the summer. So that when the kids go back to school, there'll be a great new mural right there along the thoroughfare on the west side of our community. Our tiger statues, tiger statue number 19, Claus, was delivered, and you may have seen today on Facebook, the mayor was out at Central talking to the Lighthouse team, ecstatic about being able to have Claus into the fabric of Central Elementary. Still waiting on statue number 20. Won't tell you where it will be revealed, but it should happen by the end of school, which the last day is tomorrow. Also, our latest video is on YouTube, and also Facebook highlights the efforts of our community, and specifically the mayor's vision, and also our parks guys being able to not only coat but concrete base and deliver those statues. And so we have a video with that. The next one up is Charco Manufacturing, and then we're going to play with the drone a little bit as well, having some fun in the sun at our different attractions within our community, staying cool in the summertime. Next week, my final thing here, next week Lebanon City Market begins 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's going to happen on every Tuesday, June through the end of August. And so it's going to be on the Big 4 Trail right there on Main Street, and with the added kind of kicking out of COVID, having the chop house there with outdoor seating, and having shops open, and having just the great walkability of our downtown. It's going to be great to see the continued growth of Lebanon City Market. So encourage folks to come out and partake of that and check it out. Again, that begins on Tuesday from 4 p.m. until 7.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, that concludes department head reports. First up on old business, I don't have any, I thought of something that's not on the agenda. Missy, do you want to come up and do your remaining street closures from last meeting? Okay, come on up.
Misty Krulik with the Heart of Lebanon. Let me go ahead and grab those out of here. So I think I was at...
I think we did the caravan was the last, or the trailer, or the, yeah.
Yes.
The vintage, yeah.
Okay, so here is... forgot I made those too big. Okay, so Oktoberfest. State Bank Oktoberfest is August 21st, 2021, and I'm asking for a street closure from 5 p.m. The event is from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., and I'm asking for the street closure of the intersection of Main and Meridian where we put the stage at 11 a.m., and then Main Street from Lebanon Street to Meridian, 2 p.m., Meridian Street from Washington to Main, 2 p.m. And then they'll all reopen after the event at 11 p.m.
Okay. Any questions for Mitzi on that closure request? Okay. Then would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request for Oktoberfest 2021 as presented, and also allow the service of alcoholic beverages
yes, thank you.
As part of that event.
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve the street closures as presented.
Okay, we've motioned as presented, and that includes the alcohol waiver as well?
Yes.
Yep. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. For discussion?
Are we approving the alcohol with that?
Yeah, just as one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved.
Okay, and here's my last one. This event is called History in the Heart. The The event will take place on Saturday, September 4th. The event is from 2 to 6 p.m. and will include the unveiling of our historic Lebanon Courthouse Square walking tour, thanks to a grant provided by Indiana Landmarks, Indiana Humanities, and the National Endowment for Humanities. And so they are planning to be present at this unveiling of our historic Lebanon Courthouse Square walking tour. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So with that, we're going to have a vintage market along with the Lebanon City Market, music on the plaza with a vintage flair. I'm asking for street closures from Meridian Street to Washington Street, on Meridian Street from Washington to Main from 1 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for that event.
Okay. Any questions from the board on that? Okay. I didn't realize you only had two. I guess I should have done
I
last
only
meeting.
had two, yes.
Okay, sorry about
That's
that. All right, we'll entertain a motion to approve the street closure request for the History in the Heart as presented.
I would move to approve the street closure as presented for September the 4th.
Okay. Second. We have a motion and a second for discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those are approved. Thank you, Missy. Looks like a great full calendar for the year.
Yes, we do.
Okay, that concludes what I have for old business. Is there anything else from the board?
No.
Okay, new business then. First up is a street closure request for Summerfest 2021. First inaugural Summerfest.
First inaugural. So there are some things to work out, and one of those I'd like to share with you. So here again is the map, folks. You can see there. So we're on Meridian Street, Washington here. Booth 31 is our fire department. They're able to be there and kind of have a petting zoo of sorts. We talked to Lebanon Fire and Police about doing that and having that as an amenity there for the public. Since this is a free walkable event, these barriers aren't right across the street barriers. They are ones that merely enable us to be able to make sure that no outside food or drink will be brought into the event. And so it just kind of enables us to kind of thin the herd, so to speak, and be able to kind of put eyes on folks as they come into the event. After speaking with Excise, ATC, one of the changes that was made just this afternoon, the area inside and close to the stage will be what has been called a warm zone. So you see TT is Tipsy Truck, KB is Clues Brew, set to be open on the 5th and the 6th that weekend, and TSB is that sports bar. All three entities are planning to sell alcohol at the event, and so we will need to have hard and fast barriers for folks, so the alcohol will need to stay in this area here without being able to leave the event. And so part of our volunteer responsibilities will be making sure the alcohol stays in those areas and without leaving the vicinity of our Summerfest event, which is happening from noon until 8 on both June 5th and 6th. So asking for a street closure tonight for the 5th, June 5th, for the stage, the intersection there, pardon me, the intersection of Meridian and Washington to take place at 8 a.m. so the gentleman from Whitestown can start to put that stage together. We can begin to add the different lighting and different things that need to be added to it. And then with the road closure taking place at 9 a.m. on Saturday the 5th and continuing until 10 o'clock on Sunday the 6th, 10 o'clock p.m.
And so you intend to keep it closed throughout both days?
That's going to be, yes. And so that's going to be one of the challenges with the event, and one that we have taken steps to lessen the burden. So this will be a closure that will last the entire event. So some of the vendors will be leaving their trailers or their booths there, speaking with LPD, being able to not guarantee that things don't walk off, but being able to have some added patrols there for folks. One of the things that is helping too, Sampson Family Leather will have a booth there, as will St. Adrian's Meats and Sausage. And so encouraging and met with a lot of positive conversations about being able to partner and be part of that event as well. But yeah, the closure would take place beginning at the intersection 8 a.m. on Saturday and then lasting until 10 p.m. on Sunday the 6th.
Okay.
Will you have fencing on the inside around the courthouse there to keep people from walking off around the alcohol area? taking alcohol?
Yes, the fencing will take place and barricade this entire area
Yeah.
to prevent any folks with
From
any kind
leaving
of
that area.
containers being able to leave. And the small barriers here, this is what we've called in the past, I don't even know if it's a professional term, to be honest, this being a hot zone where within the TT or the KB or the TSB area, only those that are 21 and over will be allowed to go in there to purchase alcohol, but then no alcohol would leave this part of the event. And so it stays better confined for our festivities and the safety of everyone. We'd like also the closure to include the sale of alcohol, obviously, on city streets.
Any questions for Joe on that, concerns?
So the road's going to be closed from 8 a.m. on Saturday morning until 10 p.m. on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Which, just Meridian Street or what?
The entire, from Main on Meridian, all the way to State Road 39 here on the.
So Meridian and Washington.
Okay.
Nothing north nothing north on Meridian or
No,
east on
We'll
Main?
stop at the jail, the old jail.
How about east and west then?
This whole section will be shut down for the length of the closure.
Yeah, so
on the 5th, starting at 8 a.m. is when they will bring in the stage, and then picking up, all the vendors will start to lay out their wares.
It's a similar layout as the Savor Lebanon
Save
event.
Lebanon,
So you, yeah,
minus the Main Street section.
yes.
You sure you don't need a portion of Main and portion of Meridian, north and east, they're closed to allow the people to get their equipment in for the stage and bands and so forth, go in and out?
We've talked with the library about being able to have some space towards the back of the stage, and that's where the bands will be set up. That's where they'll be parking, just the band members, and so that's kind of their back of house, so to speak, and so that's where they'll be coming in and coming out.
I just want to make sure you got enough spots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I'm okay. I just want to make sure you got enough area closed off.
All right, then would entertain a motion to approve that street closure for Summerfest for June 5th and 6th as presented, and also permit the sale of alcoholic beverages on city streets.
I'll make a motion, we approve the street closure for the Summerfest as presented, and also the sale of alcoholic beverages.
Okay. We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Good luck with Summerfest.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next up is a possible vendor request from Ms. Acrylic.
Okay, so last time I was with you, I presented about Summer Nights Music on the Plaza, and I have a request that I should have made at that time, to have, one thing that when we have music on the plaza, people always ask or request is food trucks, and then also to be able to sit and have a glass of wine. So I'm working with the restaurants around the square to come up with some grab-and-go items, or to facilitate easier ordering of carry-out items. But can't do that with alcohol, so we have the Tipsy truck that is willing to come and set up. I would set them up right here. Here's the plaza, and then I would set them up over here where she would have her hot zone all cordoned off, and people could sit in that hot zone if they wanted to have an alcohol beverage.
Okay.
While they listen to the music.
So it wouldn't be like the other event where they would walk away. There'd be a defined area and they couldn't leave.
Yes, she has a defined area that you sit in.
Okay.
With your alcohol beverage. That way we don't have to police a warm zone. It would just be her policing the hot zone.
Okay.
So, and she files for all the permits and everything.
Right. So just essentially just asking for the city permission then for the sale of alcohol beverages on the city streets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Remind what the dates were for the Summerfest, or excuse me, it's every Friday, right?
Every Friday, June through August.
Every Friday of June.
Every Friday, June through August.
June through August.
Okay. Any questions for that?
Well, isn't there a car show on Friday night or something downtown?
There is a car show every second Friday of the month, with the exception of July. It's on the third Friday, so.
It's in conjunction together.
Yes.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the car cruising and music on the plaza.
Oh, great.
So
Okay,
it's a
cool.
whole summer nights event.
Okay.
Any questions for that? Okay. Then would entertain a motion to approve the vendor request to, or the vendor, let me think how to phrase this. Entertain a motion to permit the vendor to sell alcohol on city streets as part of the summer nights events throughout every Friday, June through August.
I'll make a motion, we approve the sale of alcohol on the summer nights, right? Events on every Friday from June through August.
Yep. We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you, Missy. Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board? Okay, then we move on to the claims, and we'll entertain a motion concerning the claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Claims are approved. And any further announcements or discussion from the board? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next Board of Works meeting will be June 14th at 5:30 PM. City Council's up next.